Hello and welcome to our Nigeria and of course all around the world. This is Firecrackers, where we discuss issues of national interest. We also get to engage the major players in the game of politics. I am Kelly Egiga. So the by-elections are done and dusted, but reports say the elections experienced a low turnout of voters in 8 of the 11 states where the INEC held these by-elections on Saturday. So tonight on the show we will consider the fallout of these particular elections just yesterday. Plus on the show we will also take a look at insecurity and the war on Boko Haram, as the Senate has called for the sack of the service chiefs, while the House of Representatives have summoned Mr. President. We definitely have a lot to tackle on the show. Plus we'll also give a mention to the economy as well as gender-based violence, which marks the 16 days of activism, where the United Nations says that we must put an end to rape as well as gender-based violence. All of that on the show, but let's go take a report on the elections which held just yesterday. We will come back and get to do some analysis as my guests are already here in the studios with me. Welcome to the show.
Yes, we've had reports also about some areas in southern Niger, some of them in Nekaremo, Sagbama, even in Yenegoa area, but these are very, very few compared to the total locations. We're actually voting in more than 1,200 locations, and so if something were to happen, maybe in about 10 locations, and I call it quite minor compared to the total number. My personal assessment is we are voting. And when the voting process is done, they will actually collate the results and perhaps announce a winner. I don't expect 100%, being a human being at that. But at the same time, if we do, I'd say 80%, 85%, 90% of the polling units, and we collate it, perhaps I can easily declare a winner.
The long-awaited by-election for Lagos East Senatorial Zone came to fore today, though with low turnout. The election, which seeks to replace the vacant seats created, checks by Galaxy Television crew around Folaguru, Bajulaye, Okesono and Bariga area under Shomolu local government area, and Ogudu, K2, Mile 12, Agility under Koshofe local government area, showed low turnout of voters, as INEC officials were seen waiting patiently at most polling units. As at 9:26 a.m., voters were being given hand sanitizer before proceeding to cast their votes. They also have face masks with some control of social distance. Minister of State for Health Olorunimbe Mamora and other respondents who exercised their franchise adjured the voting process as smooth and seamless, while commending the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC.
During the by-election, the turnout is not same as the general election. So, not unexpected. This is a civic responsibility, and people will just be expected, without any coercion, without any restriction, for them to go and do what they need to do. So, we'll get there.
Voters' apathy has always been the measure of any by-election, generally, even according to the statistics of INEC.
It's a by-election, so you won't expect that kind of crowd when you're having the presidency, the governor, and all the things together.
Nevertheless, there were slight vehicular movements, as some businesses, bikes and tricycles had been working without hindrance upon the restrictions imposed. Many attributed this as a reason for the low turnout, while others were indifferent.
The turnout is not encouraging at all. It's rather low. The voting started at 8:30 on the dot, and I think the time is about 10 now. I've recorded less than 20 voters.
We'll be going around campaigning for the people to come and vote. That is their right to come and to vote. And some of them are complaining about the situation of country presently. But we tell them that they should come and vote in order to choose their leader of their choice.
I don't know. We were even talking about it before you people came in. That we don't know. We've not had up to 25 voters today, and it's it makes everything so boring. We don't know what happened.
Major thing is that the awareness was not enough from the INEC. Because you can see, unlike before, when we have the election, when there's a restriction, people stayed at home. So, but now, if you look at it, you see people are just going in all about.
So I think they had enough awareness, and we were aware that there'll be election hold on the same day. So I think they just chose not to turn out big time, to come out in mass. And for the restriction, I think, fine, the election is not being held in all Lagos State. So it can't be restricted. You can't restrict movement in all Lagos State because it's not done in all Lagos State. So it was restricted in the areas where the election.
Well, thanks for staying with us wherever you're watching from around the world. This is Firecrackers, and we're live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria. Let's get talking now as we take a look at the fallout of these elections, issues of voter apathy, issues of pocket of violence, especially in Bayelsa State. Let's get talking about all of these issues now as we're joined by a two-time member of the House of Representatives, Hon Kehinde Odeneye. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
It's my pleasure.
And of course, we also have a legal practitioner, Ajibola Kaka. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Let me begin with Honorable here, because the APC has been declared winner of the elections of the Senate Lagos East. So congratulations to you and your party.
Thank you.
Let's begin with some of the things that played out in these elections.
Yeah.
One would have thought that with the way youth came out en masse during the NSAS protest, we should have had a lot of voters come out to vote. Why was there this low turnout in these particular elections?
Yeah, the issue of youth, I want to believe that they didn't consider this a general election. So, and as you may know, they're still trying to gather themselves together. NSAS protest was just a few months ago. So there's still a lot of things that are supposed to have taken place. A lot of them were not registered to vote. So I guess we'll get to see more of the youth probably in 2023 general elections. However, as far as the low turnout is concerned, let's take it from this angle. Yes, you have congratulated APC. Yeah, we're happy we have won. We needed do more. We needed not do much because there was no strong opposition. The PDP.
You think so?
Yeah, there was no strong opposition. The PDP in Lagos State cannot be compared to a very strong opposition that could give APC that strong challenge that could have actually witnessed. I expected more of turnout from PDP, not even APC, because the person that was there before, late Bayoshino, was an APC person. So, and he had performed excellently well while he was there. Definitely, it was supposed to just be, I wasn't expecting PDP to even contest in the first instance because they knew quite well that they can't win. They couldn't have won.
Because they have made allegations of
rigging,
and the chairman of the Lagos State PDP in Lagos, Honorable Adedeji Duarte, has made some allegations of rigging and vote buying.
There will always be allegations. How do you make such allegations when your people are not even out? Who are you talking to about vote buying when your people are not even out to contest any serious make serious contest?
Let's speak with the legal practitioner here, because
he's also APC.
Yes, but let's speak with him because the APC candidate had some issues in court. I mean, I know the PDP had dragged him to court, and then he was still allowed to contest in these elections. I mean, what's your view about some of the legal issues and tussle that that emanated just a few weeks to the elections?
Well, the legal issues that emanated in the first instance does not stop him from contesting the election until somebody asked to be is still considered to be innocent until the contrary is proved. That is the provision of the Constitution. However, that is the issue is a pre-election matter. If at the end of it, right, then they found him wanting and that the allegation is right, then automatically whoever becomes, the first runner-up, that is the second position, that is the PDP, may automatically take up, the position. But as it is, there's no injunction restraining him from contesting. And apart from that, the allegation is not a serious allegation that will prevent him from contesting for the position. Okay, so that is it. Let's
have a scorecard of annex performance in these elections, as well as the security agencies. Maybe on what's your scorecard? I mean, generally in these elections, because we have to round off with this very short. Let me begin the legal practitioner here. What's your scorecard? I mean, in Bayelsa there were pockets of violence. There were even revelations of ballots being snatched and all of that.
Well, all those ones are bound to happen in an election. Not only in Nigeria, but however, the opposition.
But what's the proper thing? I'm not sure we heard of ballot snatching when we had the U.S. presidential elections in November.
Well, it may be a different. It may be a different ball game. Are you getting me? What happened in Nigeria may not necessarily be the same thing that will be happening in the Western world. They have their own mode or manner of election violence or whatever. However, the opposition in Nigeria are already weakened. It's only PDP that we can count to be the strongest opposition. However, they are not even strong in any way. If you look at it, even the Bayelsa are supposed to be even their strong base because of the presence of the former president that comes from that area. But be that as it may, APC is having the show. They are the one in control, and with the situation of things even in the country, people are tired. They are not even ready to risk their life for anything. And once APC, we all know they control both the federal and most of the states, then who would now say, okay, is contesting under opposition to waste his money? It's like throwing the hard-earned money into an ocean, and which will yield no result.
So it's about throwing or putting your money where you know that
it won't give you any result at all.
So it's not about the ideologies. It's not about.
It's not about the ideology or whatever. They are not on ground. That is it.
Honorable, is this a view that you share as a member of the APC? And then, if, for instance, in Bayelsa State, for instance, which is in the south, which one would have expected to be a stronghold of the PDP, is that why members of the APC visited the former president to probably weaken the party the more?
Let's get it right. There are specific states in Nigeria that you cannot rule out violence. No matter how free the election will look to be, there will definitely be one issue or the other. There will be ballot snatching or fights and all sorts of things in some places. Bayelsa State with violence is not something that we say is uncommon or is abnormal. However, the fact of it is that APC, as my colleague has actually put it, is on ground. So for visiting Jonathan, a lot of people have said a lot of things that maybe APC wants to bring in Jonathan to come to APC and contest second term and those sort of things. This is politics. And it is left for Jonathan to reject or accept. Again, Jonathan used to be the president of all of the whole country, not PDP country, not APC country. It's Nigeria, where we have PDP and APC. And everybody in Nigeria, whether we like it or not, whether you like Jonathan or not, he is our former president. I can go to him, you can go to him. If there's opportunity for you to see him, if there's an opportunity for me to see him. So everybody is free to see him. So the issue of APC governors visiting Jonathan is, Jonathan has been going to President Muhammadu Buhari since all these days. And nobody has said anything that whether he wanted to join APC or not. Muhammadu Buhari has given him assignments to Mali and some other African countries to go and resolve issues on behalf of Nigeria.
All right, Honorable, maybe in 60 seconds, what are the takeaways from these elections? What can we learn as we look at 2023, which already, it appears there are already some tensions and agitations?
Yeah, the takeaway is that INEC still needs to improve more. Yes, if you look at 2019, if you look at 2015 election compared to 2019, you realize that yes, there are improvements. But we still need to improve more. A lot of people have spoken about electronic voting. We are complaining about turnouts and all stuff. It's not impossible. If there are electronic voting, the turnout could have been more than that. It's not impossible. So INEC still need to do a lot. And in terms of by-elections, there is still need for more publicity, both from INEC and the parties. You know, it's not just by, if you look at the 2019 general elections compared to this by-election, you will find out that, you know, the kind of campaign that was put into that general election was not the same thing that was put into the by-elections, probably because of the limited locations. However, the political parties and INEC have a lot to do in enlightening the generality of Nigerians, and even Nigerians too need to know again too that it is our right to go and choose. A lot of people, even educated ones, we should still hear from them that, oh, I care less, it doesn't concern me. Whether you vote or you don't vote, politicians know who is going to win. Even before election, they know how they do it and also. And those are the things.
No, are you saying they know, or you're saying we know? Because you are a politician.
No. They will say we politicians know who is going to win election even before election. And that is what even some elites. It sounds somehow. But I am saying that even just one vote, you know, if you, Kelly, goes out there to say that, oh, Kehinde Odeneye is not worth to be a leader, do not vote for him. Do you know how many people that are looking up onto you that would likely follow you? But you too will say, no, I'm not even sure whether you are registered or not. Because even during the process of registration, you say, I don't care. What do they use election for? What comes out of it? Politicians know how to do it and all stuff. So there's a need. While we are challenging INEC to do more, we're challenging political parties to do more, we need to also go back individually to our various houses, not just politicians now. How many politicians do we have in Nigeria? But Nigerians should take it as a civic responsibility to select and elect their leaders. All right. And not until we do that, we will still be finding wrong people in the right positions.
All right. Let's also speak to Ajibola. The takeaways from this election, the lessons you think we should learn from it? Just
well,
briefly.
As Honorable has rightly said, I'm in tandem with some of the issues that he has raised. However, looking at this by-election, you will see even the NSAS is another thing that actually affected it. You know, the date was shifted. Or negatively? Negatively, because they shifted the date. Are you getting me? And there wasn't enough publicity to that effect. Then when you look at the people contesting for the position, the APC, you will see more of their posters and the billboards all over the places. Whether the person is, is a known person, has been a known person or not, unlike the PDP, the person who contested another PDP initially contested for governorship of this state, but before moving to PDP, despite that, much is heard of him in terms of this election context. Unlike the APC person, oh, Abiru, everywhere, you hear it everywhere. And because APC is in control, Sanwo-Olu is there, that influence is there. And as
that's helped. Yeah, well, I think we just have to leave it at that.
Okay, thank you.
Let's just leave it at that. Well, but we do hope that indeed Nigerians will begin to believe in the process, because I think that if people think that their vote will count, I'm sure many Nigerians will definitely get out and vote more often than we have seen in the past. But I think this is where we just have to wrap things up as we consider something else. It has to do with the security of this nation. I have been particularly concerned because just last week, an assistant commissioner of police who works or assigned to Borno State was killed in Calabar. And I'm wondering if someone who is a security agent could be killed the way he was killed. He was robbed and then was eventually killed. There have been pockets of violence and there have been serious insecurity. In Borno State, just a week ago or more, in Zabamari, more than 60-something farmers. I mean, the figures have always differed from the point of the government and from the point of reports and international organizations and all of that. Farmers were killed. We've seen insurgency. We'll get to talk about this, especially now that the Senate has asked Mr. President to sack the service chiefs. Is this the right way to go? Also, the House of Representatives says, Mr. President, you must come and tell us what exactly you're doing about this state of insecurity in Nigeria. That's next after this break. Stay with us.
Worried that the Nigerian military, in conjunction with other security agencies up till today, have not been able to quell the insurgency affecting the region, despite the slogan by government officials that the insurgents have been technically defeated.
Let me say, if the statement that are credited to the spokesperson of Mr. President, Mr. Garbashew, is true, then let me say that it's highly irresponsible and insensitive. He might be exposed to information that we and other Nigerians did not have.
You pay people and they don't have the arms, they don't have the ammunition. I can tell you authoritatively that up to now, people in the war front are sharing ammunition.
If Mr. President will not remove them, we call on these service chiefs in overriding public interest to resign honorably and look forward to being appointed as members of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Security to work with Mr. President.
Killing of the 43 young men in their farmlands who are beneficiaries of a wonderful program of the Central Bank of Nigeria. This is a new tactic adopted by the Boko Haram because they developed a friendship pattern where they show sign that they are not touching the farmers when the farmers have already developed confidence up to the level that they are sleeping in their farms. But over the night, they invited in one way or the other, tactically slaughtered them because of the swampy nature of the axis.
I gave up my life because of my people. Everybody can testify to that. So I fear nobody except God. The resolution we put is that we are going to invite Mr. President to come and explain to the House.
You and I know that the channel of discussion of security matters, such as this, will not be to invite the President to come and disclose issues of security and what they are doing. It will be counterproductive.
Well, thanks for staying with us. A bit of my drama there, the House of Representatives, those for and those against whether Mr. President should appear before the House of Reps or not. Well, the President has finally agreed. Then we are still wondering, is he going to appear in person? To help us understand that, of course, my guests are here. Legal practitioner Ajibola Kaka is here, but a member of the House of Representatives, former member, two-term member, as a matter of fact. I think he would help us understand this better. Honorable, let me begin with you because your colleagues want Mr. President to appear before them. Is that the way to go?
Yeah, I think it's a very good opportunity for the President to lay the cards before the House and explain basically what has been done, what is happening, and what could be done, and where the National Assembly could be of help. It is not an abnormal thing for the president to be invited. A lot of people have said so many things.
Because,
it is not abnormal.
One of the arguments is that we do not run a parliamentary system of government. And so
it doesn't really matter. The House of Representatives is a house of the people that are representing Nigerians. And you see, when the president speaks to them and explain things to them, they would understand, and they will also be able to carry their people along. A lot of people feel that the president is not doing anything, and the president is just sitting down.
Is he doing something?
He is doing something, and this is now an opportunity for him to tell Nigerians through their representatives
because
what exactly he is doing.
The president, I know he's a member of a party. The president came into leadership on 3 mantras: economy, security, and corruption. I wonder how we have fared in those 3 areas. We'll come get your views about that in just a moment. Well, let's cross over live now to the United Kingdom, where a consultant of preventive terrorism is standing by to speak with us. Temitope Olodo joins us live from the UK. Temi, thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us. When you look at the state of the nation in terms of insecurity, the killings of farmers, over 110, and kidnappings here and there. I mean, a traditional monarch in Ondo State was murdered. There have been killings all over the place. People can't even travel in some routes and roads anymore in Nigeria. What do you make of all of this?
I think it's quite sad that it's happening in a country that is as great as Nigeria, with great people who are contented. You know, Nigerians are one of the very few. Nigerians are one of the very few in countries. Nigeria is a country where the people don't ask for too much. They're only asking for water to drink, you know, security to be able to do their business, electricity to be able to sleep well, and at least enjoy the basic amenities. And they don't get it. And that's the reason why it's important that just like the member of the House in studio said, you know, it's an opportunity for the president to actually explain to representative of the people what he is doing, to lay down his scorecard, and then they'll be able to use that as something that they could take back to their people when they are being questioned. It's always very hard for representatives to be able to put forward an argument in favor of government when they don't have an understanding of what government is doing. They are only reading it in front of the newspaper. So it's a good opportunity for the president to talk to the members, most of them being members of his own party, at least 190 of them, at least counting. Only 151, if I'm right, are members of PDP and other parties representing 19. So the president is in a good position. The only challenge we have now is that some of the members are also not very unhappy because it is their area that is actually under attack. And as a result, they will have to come out and actually challenge the president on most of this issue. My hope is that maybe this discussion might be closed door so that it doesn't look as if they are trying to embarrass the president. But whichever way it comes, it's an opportunity for them to ask questions on behalf of the 200 plus million plus Nigerians.
All right. I'm not sure the media would be happy, and I personally would not want that meeting to be closed door, because I think the media would definitely want to have a feel of it. I mean, and I'm sure that you know, politicians have the kind of questions they can always ask the president. But stay with us. We will come back to you. Let me come back now to my guest, who is a legal practitioner here, Ajibola. Though a member or you are an APC sympathizer, has the president done enough in terms of curtailing the myriads of insecurity challenges in this country? Remember, we Nigerians in particular felt, look, this is a former general. I mean, he should just degrade the insurgency or the bandits and all of that. But here we are. Has the president done enough? Has your party done enough?
Well, first of all, we should not forget the fact that the president came on board, he met this problem on ground.
Okay.
Yes.
And promised to fix the problem.
And promised to fix the problem. And in fixing the problem, you know, he will not be the one to fix it personally himself, but he will act through the people, that is, the security agencies. However, the problem is that if some people are shirking in their responsibility, they are not doing what is expected of them, well, the proper thing is to show them the way out. I think
by showing them the way out, the service chiefs.
The service chiefs, the defense, Minister of Defense, and whatever, if they are not performing, it is only the winning team that the people say we do not change the winning team. And if these people, they are not winning, they are not doing what is expected of them, the president should actually sack them as the senators they've proposed, and let them be replaced. Maybe when we have better hands, maybe things will change. All these killings here and there is totally uncalled for. As a former military general, a service chief, we expect, the people expected him to do more. You know, now being the president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, those that they've been under him, he has performed this function before. He's supposed to know, you know, how to fix them within the shortest possible time.
Yes. Honorable, should the service chiefs be sacked?
Yeah, this is an issue that has generated a lot of controversies and noise over there, I mean, out there. However, I think with the way things are presently, they can be sacked. But one thing I want us to consider is that what will their sacking bring? Even if you bring the most intelligent officer to become the chief of staff, I mean the chief security officer, army officer and those of them.
Yes, service chiefs.
First and foremost, let us check the level of funding of our security outfits. You see, that is, you know, I listened to Senator Ndume, and that was not the first time he was talking about it.
A better funding for
that was not the first time he was talking about it. He has spoken about this at least 3 times. I had listened to him. He is the chairman of Army Committee, and I wonder, even if the executive brought a budget and did not allocate so much to the Nigerian Army or to the security outfits in general, what has National Assembly done? One thing is for National Assembly to increase the funding, and the second leg is for executive to ensure that the funding is adequate and actually given to them whatever is budgeted for. However, as the National Assembly gone through the books of both the executive and the military to be sure that the money that was supposed to be given to them were given to them. One, if they were given to them, have they gone through the books of the Nigerian military to know and check if they have actually collected the money and utilized the money for what they were meant for? Because Senator Ndume was saying that even the military in the war front was sharing ammunitions. And I am aware that there were budgets for ammunitions. So the questions is not just about sacking of the military. Even if you bring the best brain, and that brain is not supported with funding, adequate funding and ammunitions, the brain will become useless. Let's take this.
Is the National Assembly even performing the function that is expected of them? Because what is there is that there must be this principle of checks and balances. Are they doing that? The oversight function, how best are they performing it? Because these are some of the lapses.
Let's take this call. Let's get Temitope to come back and join this conversation. Temitope, thank you for staying with us. Well, you are outside the country. The first question, which I've asked my guests here, do you think the service chiefs should be sacked? Is that an opinion or a view that you share? And then, to add to that, is the fact that Honorable here has mentioned funding, which Senator Alindume has been clamoring for an improved funding of the military. I mean, what are other issues you think are probably on ground?
From my perspective, as somebody viewing it from the diaspora and having seen what happens in other climates, I'm seriously concerned that of course, the president has the power to hire and fire, and I'm not actually going to talk about the sacking of the military generals. Rather, I'll talk about relieving them of their post. It's not being sacked, but they'll be relieved of their post. But more importantly, I think it calls to question, a very fundamental issue, which is what is the military succession plan itself? Is the military saying that there are no other people or other generals or other soldiers who have been trained enough to take over from the current group of leadership? If that is what the military is saying, and if they can't go to the president and say, Mr. President, I've done a good job, I've done 5 years plus, I have brilliant people behind me who could take over and actually push forward your agenda, then it shows that the generals themselves has failed. But even on the question of budget, you can only do what they've asked for. So if they've not asked for the money, how will we go into their books to be able to understand what they need? Because they are the ones that should be able to tell us what they need. So for example, if they've come to the house with a budget of say 300 billion or 500 trillion, and it's brought down, that is when we could start having that debate that we're not giving them enough. The bottom line is that they've not even come up with the kind of budget that is needed, which shows that there's a lack of leadership or financial understanding of what they need, or understanding of the procurement that they need. Because if they really understand it, it is for them to lay it before the house, it is for the house and the executive to reject it. But there've never been any news available to us in the public domain that the military have presented a budget and either the executive or the legislators have cut down their budget. So that means that the ball stops with the military. It is for them to come up with that kind of budget. But if I could throw one more word in within 30 seconds, I also believe that the military need to shift away.
Do you think that the military is probably overstretched? I mean, some people think that the military have been engaged in other affairs that normally they shouldn't be involved with. So do you think that the military is overstretched?
I believe that the military should not even get involved in some of the things they're getting involved with. And I'll give you two classic examples. The military should not be involved in the de-radicalization of vulnerable individuals. That should not be the work of the military. I had the privilege of working in what was called the Office for Security and Counter-Terrorism, and I'm talking about almost 10 years ago, even before Nigeria started to talk about de-radicalization. And that agency sat within a ministry, and that ministry give out money to the community, people who are experts, who will actually carry out the de-radicalization. And you don't de-radicalize individuals that have not even been caught in the first place. So there are two levels of de-radicalization. There are those people that have gone to prison, and then coming out of the prison, they are being de-radicalized. And there are those individuals that are just at the edge, that have not committed any crime, but have shown interest. Those are the vulnerable individuals. So those are two groups. But what Nigeria have done is lump the whole thing together, making a mess of the de-radicalization project. That is not something they should be doing. And the police actually should be the one equipped to deal with internal security issues. When you equip the police and the police can't deal with issues, that is when the military comes in. But we have brought down our military to a level that the military are getting involved in even ordinary house disputes, even ordinary kidnapping issues. That is not the job of the military. The job of the military is to defend the territory of Nigeria, full stop.
Temi, thank you so much for staying with us. But stay with us again. We'll come back as we begin to wind down on the show. This is Firecrackers, and we are live from our studio here in Lagos, Nigeria. Well, we are on the issue of war against Boko Haram, as Mr. President has been summoned by the House of Representatives. We'll come back and take a look at some of these issues on ground? Is he going to appear in person? Is he going to send representatives? We know that Mr. President is not much of a talkative, some have said. Not my opinion. We're back in a moment. Stay with us.
He was ever so willing to listen, as is typical of Mr. President, the usual Democrat that he is. And what we basically sought was to convey the resolution of the House and to fix a date, which we did not fix, out of respect for Mr. President and his very, very tight schedule. What date will be convenient, and we have agreed on a date, and he will meet with the House to address the situation.
Welcome back. This is Firecrackers, and of course we are discussing insecurity in Nigeria. Honorable, the President has agreed to come before your colleagues. Is he going to come in person? Is he going to send a representative? The President likes to speak through his media aides, Garba Shehu and Femi Adesina. Is that the case?
Yeah, I don't think that's the case as far as this case is concerned. The President is the chief security of the country. And for him to have agreed to appear to the House of Representatives, I want to take him for his words that he's going to appear. However, do not be surprised that security matters are not usually discussed in public. So that session is going to be a closed-door session where he will be free to lay the cards on the table, where members will also be free to ask questions, most especially those that are greatly affected. I mean, their states are greatly affected. You see, as I said earlier, it's an opportunity for the President to come. So I don't think you have to give that, because none of his aides, except the security advisor and the Minister for Defense, are the only two people that could speak on security matters. And I'm sure that they are not also the chief security officers of the country. So the President has the responsibility, the constitutional responsibility, to brief the House of Representatives on everything that we need to know about the security challenge. However, let me also say this. Ajibola has said it earlier. The President came on board and met this security situation. A lot of people have lambasted our military and all sort of things. How many military men do we have in Nigeria? That is one. Two, has there ever been anything like Boko Haram or external forces against Nigeria before? No. Nigeria has been the one going out to support other nations, you know, to fight internal security challenges. So when this issue of Boko Haram came, it was shocking and surprising. It took everybody, including the intelligence officers, by surprise.
All right.
And Boko Haram issue is not a conventional war that you just say you move the military in and they go there once and for all and they defeat. No. You see, and again, do not forget that we are battling inside here with Boko Haram issues. The Boko Haram has a lot of external supporters that are supplying them ammunition, that are supplying them food, and some other things, even including internal suppliers. So there are so many things coming together in this. What the President needs to tell us is that what are the intelligence, the DSS, the NIA, and co., what are they doing to ensure that they assist the military? Because this fight is not for military alone. All these people together need to join their hands together and find out. There must be intelligence report for the military to be able to know when to attack, when to retreat, and when to move.
Okay, Ajibola, there are some who think that if the House appear, the President is not even, he's probably cut out from the realities on ground. You think he understands the situation on ground?
Well, as a former military general, former head of state, and presently the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, president of Nigeria, I believe he understands the situation in the country. and what is going on, at least from
because there are a lot of conflicting reports. For instance, I mean, there were reports of whether it was 43 persons, farmers that were killed. The United Nations said about 110. But the Nigerian government kept on insisting on 43. The same happened with the NSAS protests, where people died, and initially the army said it was fake news. And then somehow the government accepted that 2 persons died and all of that.
Kelly, sorry, Jibola. Kelly, the international community cannot know better than Nigerians. They can't tell us what is happening here.
That is it.
That is it. It's not possible.
But we have the presence. Of this United
There is no reason for presidency to deny the number of people, the number of farmers that were killed. They have been killed. They have been killed. So denying the numbers does not in any way take off the issue that they were killed. There were people killed. So when international communities come and say it's 100, it's 200...
But we understand that you politicians, sometimes you may, or leaders, you may probably not want to instill fear in the people.
Whether 43 or 100 or whatever, the fact remains that people were killed. And they know the people that killed them, and they are already working on it. So the external media people or security agencies cannot know more than our people here internally. So as a result, we should not
also remember that Garba Shehu had to practically blame the farmers for even farming there. He said they didn't have clearance to farm there.
Have they not been farming there?
Well, the presidential aide said so.
Well, that is
that said the military had to.
That is another thing entirely.
As we need to round up now, because we're pressed for time. We need to go.
Okay.
What are ways forward in terms of solving this issue of security? I mean, as a member of the APC, your party is the ruling party. The president promised Nigerian security, promised Nigerian a better economy. We are in recession at the moment. The president also promised that he was going to fight corruption, which some people think it's one-sided. What are the ways forward in terms of improving the security in this country?
Well, the problem has been there before the emergence of APC.
Yes, and the APC promised to solve the problem.
Promised to solve it, and they are doing their best. And it's not something that
because
it's not just an object.
It's almost 6 years
object
now
that is put on the table to be removed just like that, right? They have to be tactical, and it has to be a gradual process. And I believe the president is doing his best.
All right, Honorable, the ways forward in terms of solving this issue of insecurity. Nigerians are afraid, as a matter of fact.
The way forward is this. Everybody is afraid. All of us are afraid.
Because the kidnappings even cuts across socio-economic class.
Yes.
It's not whether you're a big man or small man anymore.
The way forward is this. The way forward is this. If the presidency feels that the Nigerian military alone, not that they cannot, but alone cannot fight. I just said recently, not too long ago, that there are also external forces supporting the Boko Haram. If there's a need for Nigeria to also seek for external support, I don't think it's out of place for us to do it. Nigerian soldiers have gone out there to support, not just in Africa alone, but also Africa. There was a time one American was kidnapped by Boko Haram, and American military came in and with the assistance, because that has to be said, with the assistance of the Nigerians on ground to rescue such. So if there's a need for us to also seek for UN or any other agency or even country's assistance for us to be able to combat this, because Nigeria is not the only country that is involved in that has been affected by Boko Haram. Cameroon is affected, Niger is affected, Mali is affected, some other neighboring countries are also affected. So if all of them can come together and seek for international support, I don't think it's out of place.
We're going to round things off in just a bit. Temitope, stay with us. We'll come back to you in just a moment. But November 3 was the International Day for Persons Living with Disabilities, and we decided to put together this report. We also have had series of reports of gender-based violence and all of that in the course of the pandemic. So we also have this report that talks about all of that. And then finally we have one that is also put together about the fact that if we probably improve on our taxation, probably Nigeria will be out of recession. We'll take those reports and come back and wrap things off.
Gathered in this hall are tax professionals, unwinding and reflecting on good times. As the year draws to a close, the professionals celebrate their own. They recount the highlights of the year and award deserving individuals and organizations. The mood is calm and celebratory, albeit issues which affect the nation and its economy take center stage. So as Nigerians grapple with recession and what it portends, the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria believes an opportunity has been presented to look cursorily at the nation's tax regime.
Taxation is the only sustainable revenue source for government. So that is the right step. We should focus on taxation. We should look at, dust up our tax laws and look at which areas that we have left asleep and bring them up. Whatever we need to do to build capacity, of the tax officers and encourage them. Because let me tell you, the job of a tax officer is not an easy one.
No tolerance! No tolerance! No tolerance! 1 in 4 boys is survivor of rape and sexual violence, and nearly 100% of boys are involved in alcohol and substance abuse. These are some of the shocking outcomes of a recent survey conducted by the Women at Risk International Foundation among secondary school boys between the ages of 13 and 18. In furtherance to this, while staging the second edition of its No Tolerance March to raise awareness about rape and sexual violence, the group, through its founder, Dr. Kemi Da Silva Ibru, says progress is gradually being made against sexual vices in Nigeria, but insists more needs to be done.
The essence of the march is based on the essence of the organization. The organization was established to address the prevalence of rape, sexual violence, and trafficking of young girls in communities across Nigeria. And we do this by implementing healthcare services at the Warrior Center, free. We offer forensic medical examinations to survivors of rape. We offer counseling services as well as free social welfare like shelter, legal aid, and vocational skills. We've seen over 2,000 beneficiaries since we opened in 2016.
Children with one form of disability or the other often suffer untold hardships, even with the rising rate of out-of-school children. Over the years, there has been so much talk about providing inclusive education, but this has left much to be desired. For some who may have the desire to go to school, accessibility is an issue. Take this area in Ajasa Command area of Lagos. Mobility is an issue as a result of the deplorable state of the roads. So, what more can be said for those who are in crutches or even those who have thought of using wheelchairs?
We want the Lagos State government to build inclusive schools that we have boarding house for our teachers and for our students. It's not all parents that can afford bringing their students to school every day, be it by Okada, that's by motorbike, or by Uber. So we need more inclusive schools that has boarding house system.
Making facilities available. For instance, look at the school. Just the mere topography is a challenge even for those of us without any physical challenge or disability. So if this was taken care of and we had a clean ramp where kids who would use wheelchairs and crutches can have, easy movement, and even those who can walk properly would not have to fall down to get to school, it will help.
So I'm just calling on the government that they should use their good offices to help those children, because one of the things that is discouraging them is lack of accessibility. That we want to come, especially those using crutches and those using wheelchair. There are no ramps. Some there are ramps. I know they are trying and they are still coming up with them, but
Thanks for staying with us, and that's how we wrap things up. We'd like to thank our guests for coming on the show. We had a two-term member of the House of Representatives, Hon Kehinde Odeneye. Thank you so much for coming. We understand you had to even suspend the journey just to be here. Thank you so much for coming tonight. We also have a legal practitioner, Ajibola Kaka. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Temitope Olodo joined us via Zoom from the United Kingdom. He's preventive terrorism consultant. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, and of course to you out there who also joined us. I mean, thank you so much. The show returns next week Sunday. I am Kelly Egiga, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.